Today, I will be sharing in the next 15-20 minutes a condensed thought about cross-border e-commerce, the future of e-commerce. So, as you know, I'm coming from Hong Kong. Strawberrynet, let's see, a raise of hand. How many of you have heard of Strawberrynet? Great. So I will take you a little bit to understand what is the background of Strawberrynet. So, coming from Hong Kong, a place with 7 million people, scale is very limited. So, 20 years ago, doing business, we must think big. The company was set up 20 years ago, selling beauty product online. And today, it's evolved into a business that is 24/7 pick and pack with customer service for 800 recognized brands with 33,000 active. With the big data we have accumulated over the years, we are able to sell to 200 countries around the world in 38 languages and 56 currencies. Naturally, it's not an easy process. We have gone through waves and waves of disruption and reinvent ourselves. But it's starting to pay back these days because really, staying local is not enough. While we actually try to learn what is happening in the market, it helps to understand consumer, what they are looking for is not just the next best product or the price. It's also which site is trustworthy, especially is not coming from your home turf. So I'm actively involved with the Hong Kong Federation of E-commerce, which we also have the chair for the World Trust Mark Alliance to promote the trust of buying and selling online. So what is the big picture? Let's have a look. The global e-commerce market is valued as $3 trillion US, but only $700 million is captured in cross-border e-commerce, which means a quarter of it. And then $1 trillion US is expected to be just the B2C, business to customer, e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce by next year, 2020. And it will be about 1 billion people will be shopping online through the cross-border trade. However, the B2B will be 4 to 5 times bigger than the B2C model. So you can imagine the potential out there that is not yet captured. So by next year, you will see the B2C, global B2C cross-border e-commerce. The breakdown is really in the Asia Pacific, which is capturing about half, a little bit more than half of the global incremental gain of trade volume. And of course, we can't emphasize more, with everything is going on mobile. So we can also see with the introduction of using mobile, actually everything is on the apps. So global mobile penetration, as we can see, this number tells us a lot of where should we go. The internet user, Asia has the highest number, followed by Europe. However, the penetration is quite saturated in Europe and North America. However, in the emerging market, developing countries, these penetrations still within 50 to 60%, which means if we're looking at the growth potential of countries like Africa, Latin America, Middle East, so you can see the growth is really huge. So if you were going to sell cross-border, where would you go? So quickly, we have a look at the the world e-commerce market, China has already grown to 42%, e-commerce market in the world, compared to a few years ago, it's only at 33%. Whereas U.S. has reduced its dominance from 26% to 24%. For India, there is huge population, whereas the transformation is fastly undergoing. So we can see the next time we share this information, India is no longer at 1.1%. I am sure in no time it will capture to the double digit. So let's look at China a little bit, since China dominates 42% of the world's cross-border e-commerce. So in the past 12 months, you will see the consumer characters actually going online to buy cross-border, a super high, very, very high frequency. On an average, there is about 1 transaction per month to buy from overseas. And then they tend to be buying higher purchasing power, they have higher purchasing power, buying higher value. Why? Because they desire goods that they cannot attain in their vicinity, or they don't really have the reach, but they do have the, the financial power to acquire that. Female mothers and child is going to continue to dominate the cross-border e-commerce trade, with beauty category, mother care, children's toys, supplies, is going to contribute a lot to the sales turnover. We also see, supplements and pets product. Surprise, pets product is also on the rise. So India's lack of no introduction of marketplace, the dominance of Amazon and Flipkart, and the rest of the world, China's Tmall, Japan's Rakuten, JD, Isuk, Lazada, Gmarket, eBay, they are going to continue to have more and more reach around the globe. And this is an easy entry point for anybody who wants to go sell cross-border and go global. However, the development of all these marketplaces is also become more and more busy. So how do we know that what we listed on the site can be searchable? How much budget do you have for advertisement in order for you to get traffic? So it's very, very competitive on these marketplaces, but at the same time, it gives you the opportunity if you play the game right. Many of these marketplaces are also starting to have localized warehouses. So take India. If we sell to India, many of India would have local warehouses which allow faster turnaround time to meet the local demand of same-day delivery or next-day delivery. This is happening everywhere around the world. If you actually read a couple days ago, Amazon just announced all the Prime members in the US will enjoy a one-day delivery. So you can imagine, US is such a big country. How many warehouses do they have to stock? What number of SKUs do they have to acquire in order to supply that kind of turnaround? So market needs outlook. We are current, but our children, the next generation, if we're just looking at shoppers today, the 90s and 95s, they are different. They're looking for fun and high quality lifestyles. So categories and personalized product require more on demand, and promotion and better shopping experience is very important. That you will see more and more big promotion. Double 11 is meant to be for China, but now around the world, everybody doing the single day sales, plus all the local promotion. it's endless sales. However, also, optimized service system and supply chain will allow us to reach out to our destination. So from India, if you wish to sell to Singapore, it actually makes it much easier to do. So today's consumer purchase is based on reputation. A study in China shows 67% of the purchase are based on the opinion leader, KOLs. Only 65% are on product discount. Okay, maybe it's not a huge difference, but as we can see, discount is important, but how important, how trustworthy is the opinion leader's view is very important. And convenience also helps. A lot of people live in small cities. They don't have accessibility to shop. So they can actually shop online, so make their life much easier. Everybody's on the go to purchase. I remember not a couple years ago, about 10 years ago, I was in Shanghai taking the subway. There is a screen of QR codes. All the morning rush hour, people will be scanning all the meat, vegetable, and milk, and then they press the button, it will be sent. By the time they get home, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, all their grocery will be at their door. So scanning complete, going mobile, it is the way to go. So can we actually take it across the border as well? So the price will drive traffic. However, trust converts sales and sustainability online. We talked about loyalty earlier on. If you can gain a customer today, would the customer stay with you? What do you do to entice them to stay? With the open of cross-border trade, you can get goods locally and same goods across the border. So trust is important. So what we see is the power of social commerce. So we talk about e-commerce, mobile commerce, social network, and social media. Everybody plays it. Most people actually involved in it. However, being able to convert from social media, this is an instant conversion of sales, because not only you engage with your customer, but at the same time, you get all their data, behavior data, allowing you to personalize and interact with your customer much better. And not to say you will be able to capture all the payment as well. So Facebook, we talked about it earlier on. In China, Xiaohongshu, which is now part of Alibaba and Tencent investment, is a successful case. This year, Pinduoduo has also become IPO in NASDAQ. So basically, the model is based on everybody can group buy together, but using a platform of WeChat in your own network. Is nobody else. So if you have a network of 200 friends, they can buy together with you. So the power of social commerce has risen so much, and the growth is exponential. So selling is not enough. After you sell, what do? You need to make sure you can deliver. Fulfillment is critical, and customer journey is the key. Online solution provider is getting more and more sophisticated for you to optimize and personalize the experience. And the financial services is also allow you to hassle-free payment. So logistics solution, the IoT, Internet of Things, allow you to track the parcels, and AI track the trucks and see how fast, where is your truck, if it is accurate for your delivery. Chatbot allow you to actually automate sales customer service, and automated document processing through custom allow you to do a cross-border shipment without hassle. So, and automated vehicles and drones, allow faster and fewer era of pick and pack. So the future of e-commerce is global price harmonization, because everything is open and visible. So, and it will eliminate intermediate gradually. And the digital platform will go globalized. Omnichannel is the norm. Cross-border, we have regulations and tax reform, custom will be modernized. But at the same time, the most important thing is we will have a much more efficient logistics service, and it will probably cut down your shipping and processing time by about 20%. And so where are we heading? China has introduced the first e-commerce law this year. WTO, together with 75 nations, has sit together in March to talk about the e-commerce cross-border trade. Government is to harmonize digital flow, not just the e-commerce. So India, Australia, Korea has already imposed duties on cross-border parcels, small parcels. And we will see more of introduction of international standards on data privacy, and rise of data center for local will be actually on the rise. In the end of the day, the modernized trade will protect the SME and the customer. In a conclusion, the future of e-commerce is borderless, seamless, and cashless. Well, thank you very much.
If any of you have any questions from Ms. Tong, please raise your hand and ask your question. Please keep your question brief and specific.
Great. Either I get all of you or I lost all of you. It's a little bit condensed version in 15 minutes.
I have a question.
Okay.
If I have a product in India and I want to sell it abroad, what should be the USP of my product? Should it be uniquely Indian, unavailable abroad? Should it be the price point? How should I create awareness for a product which, a global audience may not have?
Right. What global audience may not have is a very, very good keyword. I think, for me, it would be a combination of both. It would be, in the end of the day, who's your target customer. I think uniquely Indian would draw a lot of attraction to customers who are interested in local products. But at the same time, price drives traffic. That's the instant way for you to get the traffic in and eyeballs in.
All right. We have one question there.
Hi, we just spoke. So my question is, we have seen, I'm from Digital Express, so we have seen a lot of imposement by Chinese customs for goods coming to China. And we were talking about cross-border for China. So a lot of customers who have started selling in China, they faced issue, shipment getting hurt. So how is China being able to have a borderless ecosystem? And whereas we are seeing a lot of Chinese goods which are coming to India as sample, so even Indian customers imposing. So we are talking about borderless, but still government is not clear how to deal for e-commerce. It's still a learning curve for both the economies.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand your question.
Yeah, so my question is, we were talking about cross-border for China, but we have seen in customs, like Chinese government, they don't entertain much of the goods coming inward to China. So shipments get a lot of stuck. And so how can we promote borderless economy, both for India and China?
I think it's already happening a lot. I think there's a lot of, we see a lot of influx of importation, into India from China. And then a lot of logistic company has already set up offices and pickup points in China, in Shenzhen, to ship direct into India to enable a much easier transaction, because the paperwork between the two countries will really add a lot of burden to vendors who has a little experience in dealing with these kind of paperwork processes.
Okay. And what about China? Like goods which are going to China?
Going into China is getting much, much easier, because the Chinese government has automated a lot of the manifest declaration. Everything is online. You can actually submit everything online before your shipment is actually sent out. You get pre-approval before you actually go through. So the process has become a lot more efficient, and so it's actually quite easy. However, it's the startup point is quite painful. But with the sophistication of technology in logistics and service provider, these generally can be taken care of by a very well structured logistic company, and it will be quite hassle-free for the vendor.
Thank you so much. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Tong. It is a whole wide world. The market is very large. Thank you so much for that presentation. I would request Ashika to please come on stage. She's Associate Editor with Entrepreneur, and present Ms. Tong with a memento from our side for giving us this insightful presentation on how the whole global market can be a market for
Thank you.
even small and medium retailers. Please put your hands together for Ms. Tong.